Well, now that my interior Halloween decor is all finished, I'm gonna work on the outside. So I have a few plans for that. If you remember my secret garden tea party, I made it like a little gate for for a guest to come through the secret garden. Well, I'm gonna reinvent that gate, and I want to show you how I'm gonna turn my secret garden gate into the gates of hell, or at least the gate of the haunted manor. So let me show you what I got going. Okay, for those of you who remember, this was the gate, right? This is the structure that I made, and I glued on all those kind of garden pieces from Dollar Tree. Well, we also sell these, right? Which I've had forever. I use them for my cemetery. So these are gonna take the place of the other ones. So this time I have to make sure that they're okay for outdoors. So my husband had the good idea of using zip ties instead of hot glue, because I noticed that hot glue doesn't really hold well if the sun hits it. So this is what's gonna happen. It's all gonna be skeleton. And then I am gonna use the same kind of dowels that I had used before. I have long dowels from here that go basically where that little junction is. That's where they're gonna go. And they're gonna take two on each side just for extra looks, extra looks, but also a little extra support for this thing because they're pretty flimsy. So that's gonna be the idea, like that. And then the top ones, again, the shorter dowels. I did not have to cut anything. I just want to put it all apart. I kept all the pieces, so it's basically my Lego set I can get to play with now. And of course, I'll give it a little extra brush of paint when it's all put together. And I might even give it a little spritzes of silver here and there to add to the gorgeous. And then I'm going to mount it on the arch, which again, if you haven't seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. You won't know what I'm talking about, but if you've seen the secret garden stuff, you probably have seen it. Now, for the other ones, when I did the other ones, I took out the spikes, and I took this thing. This time, I don't think I'm going to, because if anything, it gives me this additional place to maybe zip tie this thing in. And so, also they look like spikes, spikes are kind of Halloween. So the only things that I will probably hot glue are the dowels, because there's really no way of putting those any other way other than hot glue. So I'll hot glue the dowels in place. I might even do that after, so that I make sure that they're lined up properly. But we'll see. So if you want to see that, come on along. It's pretty sturdy for just two. So now I'm adding the little dowels in the back, and I'm making use of this little groove, as you can see here. And zip tying them in a way so they kind of get nestled. That way I don't have to add any glue or anything like that. I'm trying to do it in 3 strategic points. And it kind of makes it look, I'm thinking, more realistic even. So now it is time to attach that wood piece that you see there to the arch. And that is the piece that the doors actually attach to. I actually have actual hinges that I use. Again, this is the same thing I used before when I did my secret garden gate. And this piece of wood is attached strictly just with zip tie. So the whole entire thing is just zip tie. So the next thing I had to do was, like I said, give it kind of like a little refresh coating, because the poor thing had, was in the garden for a while, and it was, had fallen off a few times. It's very delicate. The whole arch is very light. So I gave it a coat of black, and now I'm giving it a coat of silver. Again, very kind of fast, kind of like spurts, because what I want to recreate is that same kind of look that the actual little skull fences have, which is kind of like black with silver. I can't seem to find the cappers to my columns, so I'm just gonna have to use these banker box tops to kind of make do. I don't know what happened to them. I'll probably use a few colors to give it a little bit more interest. Yeah, give it a kind of a quick coat of this silver that I have, metallic silver, and I'm gonna go ahead and put maybe a little bit of gold, because I have it here, and then I'm gonna finish up with another coat of black. Which again, very light, just kind of, I wanted to look like a model kind of
almost marbled in a way. Okay, it's a quickie way then, much faster than the way I did the other ones. So there you go. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. This guy's, in this case, the splatter is kind of a good thing. Look a little costly, huh? And the thing is that nobody's gonna be seeing it. Mostly gonna, maybe you'll see a little bit. You'll see. I'm gonna put it on top of the columns later. Okay, I'm also gonna decorate my porch here. And I'm gonna start with the door. I got this wreath, I think from Ross or something like that, at a really good price. And it's funny enough, the theme of it goes even better with my theme this year than it did last year. Last year I had more of a witch theme, but this definitely goes well with that. So that's gonna go on one of my doors. Get a replacement. I don't think I have anything for the front. Putting this canopy up here in my entry. I know it looks like a mess now, but it'll work out. I got it found. This is actually an all bed canopy, so it has 4 loops, one for each corner of the bed. But of course, they get all tangled up when I put it away, so I'll show it to you when it's all done. Okay, just to give you an idea of kind of how the canopy looks. And the thing is that this stuff, again, it won't stay there necessarily forever, but it just attaches kind of to the stucco just on its own. I'm not doing anything to tack it down. So I got my wreath, I got this, and then I got my columns, and then my gates coming, so it's getting there. Okay, and here is the final version of how my entry point to the house looks like. You can see on the left, you first take a look at the cemetery, and on the right we have our dearly departed Marcus the Carcass, who's been with us since 2006. As you go in through the house, you're greeted by the Boo sign, as well as this winged Grim Reaper, who is actually emotionally censored, by the way, but you really have to yank him pretty good for him to start to yank it away. But anyway, so, and then you're going through the gates of the haunted manor. And I decided to end up having one door open and one closed, so you can kind of see the front of the gate, because we figure if we close them, maybe the package people would be scared and not want to leave any packages. But anyway, that little plaque that you see in the middle is actually a small cemetery tombstone that I had, and I thought it looked good as a plaque. I felt it needed like a plaque, but I only had one of them, so I was only able to put one. I put some orange lights on the arch, and that kind of helps to give a nice glow. And I also have 2 black lanterns that, unfortunately, the color of the LEDs is not the same, so it looks a little odd, but you know, again, that's kind of what I was working with. And here's a wreath that I showed you earlier, and here's a view from the inside of the house looking out, and a few other extra shots of individual tombstones and a few other details. And the last 2 additions, I went ahead and gave it some spider webs, which were the pain in the butt to put on because they kept sticking to my fingers. So I only did a little bit. And that's one thing. And then I did find another mat. Isn't that the cutest little haunted manor mat? I went ahead and put the bats on my doors. It felt a little empty, the door, especially since I only have one wreath. But yeah, that's kind of the latest. Oh, I can see that these guys are sometimes not gonna stay on. Yep, I try to use the same thing they have, but sometimes it doesn't work. Anyway, that's the latest. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this Halloween decor series, and I hope you subscribe so you can come back and check out what my next adventures might be about. Until the next time, dare to try something new.